Welcome. My name is Mariana Svarnik. I am your instructor today, and we are back to our series of Sahaja Techniques. Our topic today is the left channel, so the techniques for the left channel. If you haven't filled out the poll yet, please do so. It's very helpful for us to see who's here and to see how we need to adjust these sessions so that they are as useful as possible for the newer people or the people who are coming all the time, depending on what is the makeup of our of those of you who are present here. So today's session, we will start with a short meditation just to settle in, to get us settled into the meditation mood, and so that we actually can benefit the most from the session, because it is once we are settled, at least into this initial state of balance, it is much easier for us to perceive the things that we are learning, to understand them, to absorb them, and to really benefit from them. Then we will talk a little bit about the left channel and what it does, what is the job of the left channel and how it works, and in what ways it fails to work. In what ways does it become out of balance? How do we see if we actually have a problem with our left channel being out of balance? Then we'll talk a little bit about the techniques for balancing the left channel. And you know at least one technique already, but we'll mention that again. But we will actually talk about a couple of more things of how you can enhance if you find that your left channel is still not being balanced effectively enough with what you are already doing, with what you already know. We'll have time for Q&A, and then we'll have the second meditation where we can just enjoy the meditation more and go deeper into this state. So I will close the poll now. Thank you for all of those who have responded to the poll. All right. Okay, so let's settle in. Let's sit comfortably. If you're sitting on the floor, that is fine. You can sit cross-legged. If you're sitting on a chair, that is also fine. In fact, I personally find that most of the time I'm more comfortable sitting on a chair. We are not as used to sitting on the floor as people from some other cultures. And so the most important thing is that we actually can enjoy our meditation and don't have to waste our energy on being frustrated about some things that might not be working otherwise when it comes to our bodies, because ultimately this is not about suffering in the body. It is about enjoying our own self, enjoying our spirit. So it doesn't really matter how you sit. It usually works best if you sit upright, more or less, without straining yourself. And that vertical positioning is actually important. It is helpful, but we do what we can. So now what we will do is we will all together raise our energy following this video of Melanie, one of our instructors on Sahaja Online. And then we will have our first quick meditation. Do this with your full attention as much as possible. Pay attention to what you're doing. And remember that our left hand is the hand of our desire. This is how we express our desire for us to become better, for us to become connected with the all-pervading energy. And the right hand is the hand of action. And so if we put our desire and action together when we are raising our energy, it works the best. So let's try and see how it works.
Sit comfortably on a chair and relax. You may close your eyes if it helps you to relax and focus. Now, focus your attention on the top of your head. The goal is to take your inner energy to the crown of your head and tie it up. As the energy rises up your spine, it will gradually shift your consciousness into the state of thoughtless awareness. To raise your inner energy, first place your left hand in front of your lower abdomen with your palm facing your body. Then slowly raise your left hand to the top of your head, and as your left hand is ascending, rotate your right hand around it in a clockwise direction, swirling around and around until both hands are above your head. Now, imagine that you are tying a knot with a short rope, and using both hands, perform the gesture of tying a knot above your head, as if you are actually tying up your inner energy. Now, lower both hands, and starting with your left palm facing your lower abdomen, repeat this process of raising the energy and tying the knot 3 times. The second time, tying 2 knots at the top of your head. The third time, tying 3 knots at the top of your head. This technique will help focus your attention and raise your inner energy to the crown chakra or energy center. The goal is to raise the energy, achieve a connection to the universal cosmic energy through your crown energy center, and establish the state of meditation. Now, you want to form a shield of protection to protect your subtle energy system and to preserve your ability to remain in the state of thoughtless awareness. First, place your left hand on your lap, palm upwards. Next, place your right hand beside your left hip. Slowly raise your right hand over your head and sweep it down the right side of your upper body. Then sweep your right hand back up the right side of your body, over your head, and down the left side of your body. Repeat sweeping your right hand up over your head and down 7 times to form a shield.
All right. So now let's place both of our hands open on our lap. And let's close our eyes. Now let's place our right hand on our heart. You know the affirmation that we say here. This is one of our most common affirmations. So here we will say, I am the spirit. I am not just this body. I'm not my thoughts or my emotions. I'm not my habits. My belongings. But I am the spirit. I am the pure self. Let's see whether we can feel that most pure, most subtle aspect of our being. If we manage to connect to our spirit, to identify with the spirit, we can very easily go into the silence. Because our spirit is always in meditation. Our spirit is always balanced. It is always enjoying. It is always in the present. So really this whole practice of Sahaja, as the practice of meditation, as learning to become the spirit as much as possible. Learning to touch that depth that is already within each one of us. All right, very good. Now let's place our right hand on top of our head. Let's settle our attention here on top of our head. Now we will rotate our scalp in a clockwise direction. All of you who have already attended our sessions before will know how to do this. So you move your scalp with your hand, massaging the top of our head. And when we do this, we can ask our inner energy, please bring me into the state of meditation. Inner energy, please establish my self-realization. Inner energy, please bring me into thoughtless awareness. All right, now we can slowly place our hand back on our lap. And we'll sit for a few minutes in silence, just letting go of all of our thoughts, all of our past experiences, all of our future projects, as much as possible, just trying to settle our attention in the present moment. You will notice it is much easier to keep your attention in the present without thoughts if you can keep your attention on top of your head. But we can't force this. So if our attention runs away, it's all right. We can gently bring our attention back. Anytime you need, you can use your right hand to place it on top of your head to settle your attention on top of your head. And you can do it as many times as is needed. There is no race here, there is no competition. You're just trying to settle. All right, can slowly open our eyes. Welcome everyone who has joined us in the last few minutes. So today's topic is left channel. So we'll talk a little bit about the left channel. And if you have any questions anytime through this short presentation, please feel free to write them through Q&A, or if it's easier for you, you can use chat to write your questions. Either option is fine. And then I will answer them after this presentation, before our second meditation session. So the left channel, you can see it here. It is this blue channel that starts at the first energy center at the bottom of our spine. And it goes along the left side of our body, sort of along the left side of our spine. And then at the level of this energy center number 6, it crosses over to the right hemisphere of the brain. And this is where it ends. Now, something that you might or might not know already is that both the left channel here and the right channel, I hope you can see it actually on, if your device has a screen that's big enough, they don't actually go anywhere. They end, they are sort of both a dead end. One is a dead end in the right side of part of the brain, the other one is a dead end in the left side of the brain. And it's only the central channel that actually goes through. And this is the one that through which we connect to the universal energy. So there is no way that we can really effectively connect to the universal energy, either just through the right channel or through the left channel. The only way to do it is through the central channel. Now, and this is why we are so grateful to our inner energy, our motherly energy that is here at the base of our spine. Kundalini is the Sanskrit name, because it is this energy that when she awakens, it is the feminine power, we refer to her as she because of that. When this energy awakens and crosses all these energy centers above, it is because of this energy that we can be connected to the universal energy. There is no way we as human beings, using our regular human capacities, that we can actually achieve that. It is only due to this energy within us, the living energy within us, that this can be achieved. It is not because of what we do. It is not because of our mental capacities or our emotional capacities or physical capacities. None of these really matter when it comes to this connection. Now, the left channel is the channel that on the level of subtle energy work, it is responsible for our desires, feelings, our emotions. It caters to our past. So we could probably say that the job of our left channel is to integrate or to process the past. And so this is why a lot of the times the left channel is responsible for our sleep and the quality of our sleep. And we know that in our sleep, our brain actually works through all of our past events and is trying to sort them and organize them and sort of label them properly as the past and digest them if you wish. It is a very important aspect of our being, and it is also a very important aspect of this particular meditation, the Sahaj form of meditation, because it is the desire of the left channel that actually supports the rising of this energy, right? Without our desire, nothing would happen also. We have to desire for our energy to come up. We have to desire to be connected to the all-pervading energy. And without us desiring it, it is not going to happen. We might not even be aware that we desire it. We might not be conscious of us desiring it. So sometimes some people might get their self-realization without even actually realizing what is happening, and without expressly saying that they want it. And yet that is only because that desire is already there, even if it is not consciously formulated. It is because they are looking for something more in their life. They want to become better. They want to become more of what they are. They want to be good people. And this is why it works. Now, our left channel has a lot to do with our habits and conditionings. So if we look at how the habits sort of, how they come up, how they're formed, they are formed based on what we do, but based on what we have done. So basically, if we keep doing something over and over and over, then the habit is formed based on the past. And this is why this habit formation is also the job of the left channel. And some habits are very useful, and some habits are very good habits, and other habits are not so useful and not so good. Now, so I mean, brushing your teeth is a very good habit, and sitting down for meditation is a very good habit. And yet there is a limit to how much the habit is, even a good habit, is really good for us. Because a lot of the things that are really, really important in life, if we want to really do them well, we cannot do them just out of habit. We cannot do them based on a habit. If we want to have a very important conversation with our family member, we can't just sort of habitually talk to them using the same phrases that we always use. If we want to say something that's really important, we have to really try to sit with them and come up with something that we want to say in that present moment, and let it come out and let it be present. Because if we just repeat something that we already, say, rehearsed or prepared in the past, or something we said before, it is not going to flow properly. So in that sense, the left channel always tends to actually slide into the habit. If we, let's say, if we see a particular kind of food, we always want to make a judgment. Okay, I know what this is. I know what this is going to taste like. This is the conditioning that we have formed. This is one of our kinds of mental habits that we have based on our past experience. And so we make these judgments, we make these actions based on the past. And so it is very useful for things that are, let's say, not very important personally or spiritually. It is extremely useful when you're driving. It is good to have good driving habits and rely on them, because this is something that will make it possible for you to drive without using up all of your energy all the time, right? But when it comes to important things, we have to remember that habits often tend to take us away from the present and drag us into the past, because they keep using our past experiences. So when we sit to meditate, it is very important to always be very careful about not making it into just a habit. It is very important to try as much as possible to be present in what we are doing. When we sit to meditate, when we open our hands, when we raise our energy, right? We want to do it like we would do it the first time. We want to do it with our full attention and full desire, because if we just do it like a habit, it will not do anything. It will be just something from the past. It will not actually activate our central channel in the way that needs to be activated. It will just be sort of the left channel going through the motions. Now, a lot of of these products of our left channel come from our upbringing and our culture. So a lot of, say, cultural conditionings or cultural ideas, a lot of the huge part of our identity, let's say our identity as our ethnic identities or our national identities, our identities as belonging to a particular place where we grew up or where we are living now, all of these are actually products of the left channel also. And all of these can be useful, but when taken to extreme, can be actually very limiting to us. Now, the ideal quality of the left channel, if the left channel is in a perfect state, if it is really superbly balanced and full of energy and working well, then that ideal quality of the left channel is joy. It is that pure joy of a child. So it is like, you know, if you wake up in the morning and the day is beautiful and nothing is hurting and nothing is bothering you and the sun is shining and you just feel so much joy, but for absolutely no particular reason. You are just enjoying the moment and you're fully relaxed, not overly excited, but very satisfied with yourself. And so all of these are that kind of a joy that the good left channel can give to us. So anytime when you find yourself that you're not feeling that, you can be sure that your left channel is not functioning properly. Now, both left and right channel, they have a tendency to go out of balance. And the going out of balance of the left channel is the one that will drag us towards very dark sorts of feelings, towards feeling depressed and sad and nostalgic and lethargic and not being able to do anything and just stuck into some really bad experiences of our past and reliving them, or stuck to the good experience of our past that are not there anymore, and we can't get over of having lost those experiences and things like that. And so this is when the left channel, instead of giving us that pure joy, is giving us nothing but grief and really dark and often self-destructive kinds of feelings. So left channel imbalances, right? And I have already mentioned quite a few of those in just talking over the previous slide. You're not seeing the whole slide for some reason. It's all right. Okay, so attachment to the past. If we are so attached to the past that we favor our past to instead of favoring our present, that is what is one of the signs of our left channel being out of balance. So if we cannot get over something that happened in the past, if we cannot leave the past behind and leave it in the past, that is a sign, that is one of the major imbalances of the left energy channel. Any kind of emotional extremes, be it if we are depressed, if we are even overly happy, that sort of kind of happiness that is sort of is not balanced. It is a kind of happiness that, you know, when the children are running around and being super loud and very, very, very happy, and you know that this whole situation will end up in somebody crying. This is a kind of over happy, that I mean overexcited in that sense. If we are very sad, or if we are very disturbed, if we are scared, all of these sorts of emotional extremes, and often jumping from one extreme to the other, is a sign of the left channel imbalance. Any kind of wrong desires, especially if they are self-destructive, And often even the sort of mildly self-damaging desires or habits, all kinds of bad habits, addictions, but also any sort of attachment to, let's say, people who are manipulating us, or people who are using us, people who are taking advantage of us, and being attached to that, sort of not being able to get rid of all kinds of negative relationships. This is another sign of left channel imbalance. Any sort of lack of flexibility, being fixed in how things are happening, and especially when it comes to anything that has to do with spiritual things, with religion, or with ethics, any kind of ritualism. So when instead of actually feeling what is right for the moment, we just follow a ritual for the sake of the ritual. If we cannot possibly change anything that we have already decided this is how it is done, and especially if this comes, if it's about cultural sorts of conditionings, if it's about lack of flexibility, not because of your ego, not because of this is what you personally decided, but because of, oh, this is how it's been happening forever, this is how we do it, this is what we eat, this is what we don't eat, this is when we sleep, this is when we don't sleep, and all these kinds of everyday things. If you don't have your lemon with your food, you cannot eat your food. Or if the food is not salty, you cannot eat it. And so these kinds of things that really, really spoil our life when it comes to things that are very simple things, like, you know, food and living conditions, and I don't know, how to do simple things that are really ultimately not very important. So all of these things, what they do is they suck out joy out of our life. And so this is really, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how much to say and how much not to say, because you can see the left channel here has a projection at every single energy center. So at every single energy center on the left channel, we could talk about particular qualities and particular lack of qualities, right, that occur on the left channel at that point. But there is absolutely no chance we can cover everything in such a short time, and also because we want to still meditate, because meditation ultimately is more important than me talking about this. So I'm just trying to sort of say a few things so that you can just look back and see, okay, is this what I am doing? Is this how I am? And this sort of introspection is very important for us in Sahaj, because a lot of the things that we do can be corrected just by sitting down and meditating. And yet there is that small part for which we have to face ourselves. We have to see how we are and what we do. And sometimes we just have to say, okay, that's enough. I'm not doing this anymore. That's enough. I'm not smoking anymore. That's enough. I'm not letting this person manipulate me anymore. And we don't have to become angry about it or become explosive. And that's because that's not the point. We just let this go into the past, and we refuse to have our joy sucked out of our life because of all of these things. All right, now how do we know that our left channel is out of balance, besides if we have any of these things that were listed before? The best way for us to know if we have been practicing this for a little while, and if we feel the energy flow on our hands, we know that our left channel is out of balance if on our left hand, this is my left hand, you probably see it on the right side, but this is actually left hand. So if on our left hand we feel no flow of energy, or we feel a lot of heat or tingling on the left hand. So for example, if we feel cool on the right hand and we feel hot, a tingly, or nothing on the left hand, then we know that our left channel is out of balance. And this is the most accurate way of actually knowing that our left channel is out of balance. because all the other things that we might think that we do or don't do or have or not have, they will all be somehow mediated through our mental process. And our mental process is always tricky and often is deceiving us. But this is something that does not deceive us. It just flows or it doesn't flow. So this is the best way to actually identify the imbalance in the left channel. Now, if you're not feeling the flow of energy yet on your hands, then you can notice if your attention always goes towards the past, especially if you're trying to meditate and you notice that your thoughts, all of your thoughts that are coming is all about the past, what happened yesterday, what happened 10 years ago, the people from your past, the events from your past. So if your attention keeps being constantly dragged into the past, that is a sign that your left channel is out of balance. And if you have these feelings of sadness, lethargy, laziness, or other clear emotional imbalances, that is also another sign, and we already talked about it. Now, what you can do about this, and this is the best part. Okay, sorry, I was a little bit too excited about writing this out, so some of these things are slightly chopped off here on the right side of the slide. So the basic balancing, this most of you already know, at least those of you who've attended some of our sessions before. We meditate with the left hand open on our lap, and the right hand, we place it down towards the ground, or if we are sitting on the ground, we can place the right hand directly on the ground. And this is a very common and very effective way to balance our left channel when we meditate. So we do this, left hand on the lap, right hand on the ground or towards the ground. We bring our attention to the top of our head, and we ask our inner energy to balance our left channel. It is the most simple but extremely effective way of doing this. Now, if you find that this is not sort of strong enough, if you find, for example, that you feel a lot of tingling and it's not going away through this, one of the best ways of supporting the left channel and clearing the left channel is fire and light. So even simple things like if you feel that your left channel is very much out of balance, try to see whether you can increase a little bit the amount of time that you spend outside and or just even sort of in the fresh air if possible. I know for many of us right now this is not very easily achievable depending on where you live, but still even simple thing like opening a window if it's nice and warm outside and just bringing your attention out into the open often helps a lot. But we also have very simple other ways of doing this because we have candles. And many of us use candles a lot. It depends a lot on where you live and also what is the sort of the energy situation in a place where you live. When I used to live in Toronto, I used very little of candles. Now I live in the middle of Canada and I use candles a lot because somehow this is what is required. So I will show you what I do with the candle. Let me try to do it like this. Okay, so you can see I have this little table on the side of where I'm sitting. And I'll stop sharing so you should see this better. All right, so here is my candle. Okay, it's on, you can sort of see. So the same way that we were balancing our left channel with the left hand open, right hand towards the ground, instead of just keeping it open, we can keep it, place it towards the candle light. And keep it for some time, find the sort of convenient way of placing it. If you're sitting on the floor, it is very easy because you can just take a bit of a taller candle and place it in front of you. But of course, this is open light, so you have to be extremely careful when you do this. And then there are other ways of doing it. You can light a few candles and arrange them in all kinds of different ways. But this will be sort of for another day and for a little bit of the more advanced session. Let's put it this way. But this is meditating like this, with your hand towards the candle, the left hand towards the candle, right hand is toward the ground, is extremely helpful. And to be honest, I don't know how I would be able to meditate at all if I didn't have this resource. So make sure your light is off. Right. Back to sharing screen. Okay. All right, so this is the enhanced version of balancing the left channel. Now, something you can always use also if you're feeling that your left channel is out of balance is to use the affirmations and the placement of the hands from the self-realization exercise, because these are supporting all the energy centers, at least up to this energy center number 5 along the left channel. So you can always use these. It is easy to use. If you happen to be here for the first time, which I don't know whether there is anybody because you would have joined slightly late, we will send an email with our whole list of instructional videos. And so our self-realization video includes these affirmations for the left side. Now, there is another thing that you can do, but this is only if you feel the flow of energy on your hands. So if you feel the flow of energy on your hands, and if you feel that, say, on the left hand, you feel hot and tingly, on the right hand, you feel cool, then what you would do is you would raise your energy on the right side and take it down on the left side. So it's almost same as what we did when we were placing ourselves into protective shield. And you can keep going like this for a few times. And then you watch what you're feeling on the left hand. The reason why I'm saying that you should be able to feel the energy in order to do this is that the moment you feel the same in the left and the right, you need to stop. Because it is about achieving balance. It's not about overdoing it. And then you can do the same if you're feeling hot and tingly in the right hand and cool in the left hand. You can do the same, just the opposite. So you lift it on the left and you take it down on the right. So these are some of the techniques. Now this session is being recorded, so you don't have to remember this. I will share the recording with everybody who is RSVP'd for the Sahaja Techniques, any of the sessions. So if you receive the reminder about this session, you will receive also this follow-up email with the recording. So now, finally, I am done with what I wanted to share with you today. And so if you have any questions, please write them in the Q&A or in the chat. Okay, there's a question. Is it okay to take a shower after meditating? Yes, absolutely. There is no restriction. It's okay to eat before meditation or eat after meditation, take shower before or after. See, taking shower is the bodily sort of thing, and meditation has to do with the spirit. So it's not really affected by these simple bodily things. Yeah. Right. Anything else? Anything else about the left channel? Now, if you have questions at any time, you are welcome to also respond to any of the emails you receive, any of the session reminders you receive from us. And especially if you respond to a session reminder, then our admin will forward it to the instructor who has been conducting the session. Or if you know who has been conducting the session, you can just mention the name of that instructor and it will be very easily forwarded. Also, those of you who came last week, you have received an email directly from me. You can always respond to me anytime you have any questions or concerns. All right, looks like no more questions for now. Thank you for that question. It was useful. All right, so now, oh, this was our Q&A. Now let's have another meditation. So let's sit comfortably again. Adjust what you need to adjust if you do. I know this session there was a lot of talking in this session, but see whether you can bring your attention to the top of your head and see whether you can feel the flow of energy from in your hands, your fingertips. We call this flow of energy, we call it vibrations. So when we say vibrations, you sometimes will hear it in the sessions. We are talking about the flow of energy. All right, so what we'll do is we will just place our right hand on our heart. And because we're talking about left channel, we will utilize those few affirmations for the upper energy centers from our self-realization technique. So here we'll say, I am the spirit. If you want, you can address your own inner energy, or you can address a universal energy when you are saying affirmations. And see how you feel when you do that. Inner energy, I am the spirit. All right. Now we'll place our right hand on the left side of our neck. The corner between neck and shoulder. We can slightly turn our head to the right. And here we will say, I am not guilty of anything at all. This is a very important affirmation for the left channel, because we really need to leave our past in the past. So we need to really get over any feelings of guilt. They are not helpful because they are just dragging us into the past. Inner energy, please remove all of my guilt. And please let me feel the pure joy instead of feeling guilty. All right, very good. We'll place our right hand across our forehead. I forgive everyone, and I also forgive myself. Again, we need to leave the past in the past. We are exhausting our left channel if we are just keeping attached to the past and to what happened in the past. I forgive everyone. And I also forgive myself. All right. We can place our right hand on top of our head. And here we will say, inner energy, please establish my self-realization. Please remove all the obstacles that are preventing me from integrating into the universal energy, fully connecting to the universal energy. All right, we can slowly place our hand back on our lap. Now I'll play a short music clip. We can just try and enjoy that silence within.
तुझको प्रणाम, तुझको प्रणाम, तुझको चरणों में तेरे सातों धाम, सातों धाम, तुझको तुझको प्रणाम, तुझको प्रणाम।
All right. Now we have reached the end of our allotted time. So if you need to go, please feel free to go. I will launch our quick after session poll. If you can respond to that, would be great. If you'd like to stay still for some time, then feel free to still stay. I'll play some more meditation music, and the homework is as it has been: meditate daily, ideally twice a day, do foot soak once a day, and then when you feel your left channel is out of balance, do practice these techniques that we did today. There is a question, what does it mean to feel heat instead of cool breeze on the crown? The heat in general that we feel is the sign that our energy is trying to remove the obstructions in our system. And so this is how the heat is generated. So in itself, it is a good sign because it means that the system is working, but it also means that there is something that needs to be worked out. So often for us, the heat is the indication that, okay, we need to do that extra foot soak, spend a little bit more time in meditation, also figure out where exactly that heat is coming from, depending on what we feel on the hands, and help that particular energy center or the whole channel by balancing, using some of these techniques that we are going through in this course, in this series. I felt warmth on both hands, and yet I was mostly experiencing thoughtless awareness. This is very good because what that means is just that the energy is working, but there is still enough of the energy being able to pass through for you to be able to experience thoughtless awareness, because it's not all or nothing. There is a sort of a gradation, and if enough of our energy can still go through, that means that is when we can experience thoughtless awareness, even if there are still some things to work out in the system. So it is very good. Okay, one more question. Oh, no, this is just a thank you. All right. I really feel bad for disrupting the meditation so early, but as I said, I'll play a little bit more music. So those of you who wanted some more meditation can still stay and enjoy. Another thing that is on a slide right now, and I would like to stress, is that try to stay clear of other non-Sahaj meditations or energy work for the time that you are practicing Sahaj, or for the time that if you decide, okay, let me do this for a month and see how it works, try to remove any other practices from your life for that time as much as possible. Because a lot of the other practices are based not on utilizing the energy of the central channel. And so a lot of them take our left or right channel out of balance a lot. Another thing I haven't mentioned is that when our left channel is out of balance, this is when we become vulnerable to viruses, for example. Our immune system, a large part of our immune system has to do with a strong left channel, actually. So, yes, I think there is another, just a comment, all right. Now, thank you, everyone. And we will see you next week for the session on the right channel. Right channel is much simpler to deal with, so it will be less talking and more meditation, hopefully.